Hey, my name is Pun. I'm a co-founder of Conduit, and I'm here to talk to you about booking appointments using AI. Appointment booking AIs have been a very, very popular use case for the last couple of years, but most of the platforms are really focused on a small part of the full workflow. Either you're just fielding inbound calls or you're just sending a text message sequence. Conduit combines all three, and we've worked with teams to deploy hundreds of appointment booking workflows. I want to jump in to Conduit and show you a little bit more about what I mean. So booking appointments with agents across a single channel is fairly simple. Booking appointments across multiple channels, especially if you want to do omni-channel workflows, is a little more complicated. So let me actually show you how to do it over voice first, because that's much easier. Again, the Agent Hub is a place where you define all of your information for inbound agents. These inbound agents will have lots of information that it processes. It will have some time to process that information as we are receiving that message. And then all the configuration of the inbound agent is semi-inherited in the outbound agent as well. And really the reason for that is for these voice agents specifically. If you are calling out with, this 5448 number, when somebody calls back in, they expect to hear the same person, right? And so all of the configurations that you set in this voice agent should also apply to any time you do an outbound call within a workflow using this number. But that being said, the voice agents have access to the booking availability tools. We're making this visible in a future update that's coming very, very soon, but essentially, all of the agents will have access to our native Conduit calendar. The native Conduit calendar, essentially inside your settings, under calendar, you connect your Google Calendar if you want and have the AI agent read from slots from a specific calendar. You can set your global override so it can just read my calendar only, and then have multiple bookings per slot. This is kind of like a call center mode if you want to have one schedule across your whole business, or each of your team members can actually set their own schedules and connect their Google Calendar here to set their allotted slots. Each person will have their own calendar, and the AI agent will read slots across all calendars within a workspace. So that being said, the voice agents have access to booking calendars. And in order for the voice agent to make a booking, it can do so obviously in two ways, right? In the inbound case where customers are calling in and wanting to set an appointment. And that case is fairly simple. What you can do is you can simply paste this prompt that we really recommend, which is the schedule callback prompt. It will essentially collect the availability from the user, working with them to understand when they want to call. We could call a booking tool to check for availability for the provided time range. So when you're checking, say something along the lines of, let me check that for you, give me a second. Some conditionals, depending on availability existing or not, calling the booking tool to book that appointment. And then if the booking is successful, really closing off the conversation. And so this would actually be something that just works out of the box because Conduit has a native booker. What we can do too is show you how to do it in the outbound case. The outbound case, it's going to be quite similar to another video if you've seen the cold lead engagement workflow, where for lots of sales use cases, we like to use promote Conduit as a platform that is deploying warmer agents or agents that work alongside your sales team to do the things that your sales rep doesn't do, so that they could focus on the best things that they can do, which is closing, right? AI agents can't close right now. Sales reps can close. So we want to allow the agents, sales reps to essentially focus on just closing, and the AI agents you deploy will do everything else. And so this specific workflow is a cold lead engagement workflow. When a new lead comes into the CRM, we wait for 10 hours, meaning that it's really cold and nobody is really touching this lead. We're filtering by the status to make sure that it's not taken by a sales rep. And then we're making a call out to try to book a call, right? So we're actually doing a bit of qualification here, but we have another prompt, the same exact prompt that I showed you in the inbound prompt, to schedule a callback. So in all cases, whether it's inbound or outbound, in the voice AI agent, you can call tools to set appointments. right? So this is extremely good, especially even if you're starting the workflow outbound. If the customer comes back and calls inbound, then you're going to make sure you're booking that appointment. If your customer is already booking in this outbound call, then perfect, you're already handling that booking. So that's all fine and good. Lots of customers, though, don't like to make bookings on phone calls. They don't even want to pick up phone calls in the first place. So a lot of times this workflow falls down to the send SMS message node that just sends them, hey, we weren't able to reach you. Let me know if you're still interested. We can book you a call to discuss your business with Conduits, right? And, as long as that message is sent out, a lot of customers like responding to texts. They don't respond to phone calls. They don't pick them up. They just respond to text. And so how do we handle that situation now of booking a message through a text response, right? So there's no concept of booking an appointment on an outbound text because an outbound text doesn't get a response. So there's no booking an appointment there. But for these texts that are sent out and then get a response from the customer, we can set up tools for specifically a leads agent, but it could be any agent that you set up depending on the inbox type. And you can allow the agent to have access to these tools, right? And the tools are creating and managing bookings, and obviously all the other ones that we have by default. And then some custom ones, like if you have a custom calendar that you want to connect with and you have an API key that you connect to that, you can write custom Python code to allow your AI agent to access that tool on the inbound text. In this case, we're using the native Conduit Booker, and so we can just use this create and manage bookings tool. What I can do now is I can create a procedure. So we would create a procedure here for our contact type leads. We'll name it customer expresses meeting interest. So I'm going to dictate into this box and I'm going to let AI rewrite it for me. So whenever a customer expresses interest to book a meeting or book a call back from an outbound message that we sent, you should ask them for any available times that they have within business hours of 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time. Confirm with them those times before calling the booking tool and making that booking for the customer. Maybe you should also check for availability by calling the availability tool, getting a response from that, and then making the booking. So just ensuring that you can make the booking and it's still an available spot for some people in the workspace. And yeah, after you make the booking, say, hey, like you're confirmed here, you're confirmed for this time and this date. Looking forward to speaking with you. So this is a procedure that, obviously I'm just dictating in here and I can rewrite it with AI to clean it up. But essentially this would allow us to essentially make the booking. And we're referring to the tool here. So using the availability tool, we'll have some more better autocomplete to, exactly allow you to, pick the tool and like verbatim refer to it by its definition name. But the LM is extremely smart and is able to actually process this and understand that this is, the tool that it wants to access, right? And so we can create this procedure, and then anytime a message comes in now, we will dynamically fetch these procedures using RAG. But for the most part, if we put some examples, so let's just say examples are, yes, I want a meeting. Yes, as a response to meeting request. Essentially, we would apply this procedure, call the tools, and then make the booking. And then finally, in order to make sure that your no-show rates are as low as possible, you can create a workflow that essentially I'll dictate it again. When a booking is coming up, 1 hour before the booking, you should send a text message asking them to confirm the booking. So agent inject and ask whether they are going to be able to make the call. And then, maybe update a custom field saying this person will make the call. And so, yeah, texts are also are very valuable to just confirm that customers are available for the call. And then also, I think it's great that we update that field in our CRM to make sure that we're not running any other workflow to try to win them back and reschedule them. That's a story for another day. But there's a lot of different ways that we can ensure that we are setting the, let's see why AI couldn't do it. But we need to ensure that we are setting the right attributes to exit a workflow, right? So for example, let's say somebody books a meeting and we still have another workflow running, which is that, that workflow that does like meeting bookings for cold leads. So let me just show you that later. But essentially for this one, what we do is there's an upcoming booking. So 1 hour before, we're going to agent inject, ask if they can make it. We select the provider. We'll branch on whether they can make the call. If they can make the call, we'll update a custom field saying we'll make call. And then otherwise we'll leave a note that's indicated they didn't make a call. Okay, yeah, great workflow. One last thing I wanted to show is essentially, what if we make a booking over text, right? What if we make a booking over that SMS or that text chat agent tool call? What we want to do is we want to make sure that whenever we make a booking, we're gravestoning that contact, right? And what that means is we're ensuring that that contact does not get contacted again through a different workflow. And that is extremely important, especially when we have multiple workflows running. Because when we do have multiple workflows running, the workflow needs to have visibility on the other side of that workflow, whether it's in a different channel, an email, SMS, or whatever. We need to make sure that we're gravestoning and stopping the workflows properly, right? So what we can do here is we can have so I just added a gravestone as an attribute. And whenever a new booking is made for leads, let's just make sure we gravestone it. And it's just a very simple way for us to ensure that leads are not contacted again. And in this workflow where we do cold lead engagement, we can do a filter right here by after send SMS message. We can do a couple things, right? We can do a filter, or actually we should do it after the wait. We can do a filter, and two things we can do. We can check that the message is not replied to. That's one thing, because we don't want to call them again, because we don't have we've essentially broken the context here, broken the state machine, and so we don't want to keep continuing in this workflow. And then we can also check that the gravestone is false, right? And that will just make us extremely safe in the sense that we won't continue more and more sequences. It's especially important if we have a long running sequence that maybe multi-day or span several weeks. We want to make sure we're gravestoning and checking the right statuses. Again, this is also very, very useful if you are gravestoning it based on a contact CRM, based on a CRM change. And so if you have a CRM change in a different system that informs you that this customer came in through a totally different channel, maybe they came in person and went to your office, and they shouldn't be contacted again because they already bought a service from you, then you can gravestone it in your CRM and then make sure that we have another workflow here that upon a contact status being updated, contact attribute updated, let's say the status of the CRM is changed, we can set walk in, right? So if, let's say they walked in, we can also gravestone it to exit it out of all the other workflows, right? So wrong one. But yeah, essentially that's how booking appointments work. It's a few steps, especially if you want to put this into production, but please let us know if you have any questions, any feedback, any ways you think it could be improved. And we're excited to see what you build.